In today's video, I'm going to highlight the importance of adding some form of a meditative and mindfulness practice into your daily life, and why doing so creates an ideal environment that takes you out of your thoughts and into your heart, which opens up the channels to a higher consciousness and your soul energy. And no, you are not forced to sit in a lotus position for hours on end until you become a Buddhist monk. I'd be there forever. Nor are you trying to channel every ancestor in your family bloodline. But if that's your jam, go for it. You do this so you can return back to who you've always been, your true self, a soul, your natural state of being. So, if you are tired of chasing that tail and you wish to command it, then the time has come to observe, accept, surrender, and receive. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm IZ-NESS, your soul energy alchemist. And I'm here to help you embrace your IZ-NESS. So, if you haven't seen my previous video, Stop the Tail from Wagging the Dog, you need to check it out. Because I explain how to separate your inner self from your thoughts by being out of your mind, which, as we will learn, or if we don't know by now, is a huge perk. It is the first order of business to implement by doing it over and over again until it becomes second nature, enhancing your spiritual development and the ability to watch the thinker, which is the polarized version of you, your ego. And it is meditation that will give you inner access to observe those thoughts without continually throwing you out of balance and back into paralyzing fear. And there are so many opinions about it. Boy, what it is, what it means. I've read hundreds of comments over the years on social media that describe meditation as the devil's work. Voodoo, witchcraft, and everything else in between. People, listen closely. It has nothing to do with religion or any of those other metaphysical fear-based practices, which are fine, but for this purpose, they have no relevance. Zero. Nada. A few years after my spiritual awakening began, I was inspired to become certified in this space. I found the truest parts of who I was during that course and tapped into what would now become my purpose work to serve forward. Before then, I was the first one to poo-poo any form of spirituality because I also had limiting beliefs on what mindfulness and the practice of beingness actually was. As a natural rule breaker and rebellious soul, I wanted nothing to do with what I thought was control, and submission to authority I was sure I wouldn't respect. But I was forced into my awakening process and was desperate for the relief and release of my pain body. My ego was a stubborn one. It did everything it could to keep me in my comfort zone. And we all like that, right? I mean, our comfort zone is our safe place. So after a while, my coach finally asked me, how is this continued disappointment and letdown working out for you? I knew it wasn't. And like myself, we have to sit in our own shit. Take a hard look at what we're allowing. She did not mince words, because placating me would have just stroked my ego and kept me where I was, quite frankly. And so I also do not play with my students either. I tell them, if you're not all in, you're not in at all. So give yourself permission to release those limiting thoughts and open your heart to whatever comes in. Now, what meditation is conscious and intended breath work, presence, and stillness of the mind. It is the spiritual practice meant to guide you inward, cultivating divine communication with your God within, while aligning you closer to your soul. See, prayer is beautiful. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing, but it is a place where we ask. We are asking our God for something, for help, for love, for, we're also thanking, but prayer is where we ask. Meditation is where we hold the space to receive those answers, okay? When you quiet the mind, you allow the information to channel through you. It slows down the speed train of the internal chaos and disturbance created by that monkey mind that only wants to control its favorite subject, you, by interrupting what you've got going on. It doesn't give a crap about your soul. It's clinging to its survival at all costs, okay? So you're trying to be all zen, and this pain in the ass keeps talking at you, but it's only doing its job, echoing the story you've written, buried in your subconscious, and retold through those pesky thoughts and beliefs from the story that you've been telling about yourself and your life circumstance in order to keep you under its thumb. And this is exactly why many people feel they cannot meditate or just don't know how. But now, my friends, it's time to step into your power and remind yourself, who the hell is boss here? That being said, I'm going to share with you 6, popular forms of meditation so you can choose what speaks to your personal preference. You can start small. Working up to 20 minutes per day will really propel the effects. But there is no right or wrong, remember, as that is duality. Just do what comes naturally. And over time, you will be desiring to increase it. The first one is mindfulness meditation. It's the most common, enhancing present moment awareness and a state of calm. It can be achieved sitting, standing, lying down, any which way, okay? Number 2, movement meditation. And this can be walking, tai chi, swimming, any form of movement and awareness of each movement. Being in that movement, in the present moment, being with what you're doing. Even though you're swimming, you want to pay attention to the strokes and what your feet are doing and how you're breathing and your surroundings, So it is a mindfulness practice as well. It's just a different form. They're all pretty much mindfulness practices. But spiritual meditation, number 3. This is your traditional Eastern practices, promoting self-awareness and connection to the 5D. Typical, lotus positioning for long periods of time, Buddhist and Hindu roots. You'll find that, and it goes centuries back. So it is probably the oldest form of meditation that we know of today. Guided meditation. Now this is a great one because this really will kickstart your new thing, okay? There are thousands of YouTube videos that are customized to your liking based on time, experience, level of consciousness, You want to hear water drip, dripping in the background, birds chirping. I was a pain in the rear end when it came to the voice. I prefer a man's voice just because I feel like it's just there, it's more relaxed. To each his own, you do you, is what I want to say. Number 5 is yoga meditation. Combining a focus on health, obviously, breath, and body awareness, and balance and groundedness too, which is awesome for your physical, especially during your awakening. Your physical body takes a hit, and yoga really centers you and brings you into balance in every way, okay? Aligns those chakras and really gets the chi flowing. The last one is mantra meditation, the ancient practice of repeating sacred words or phrases, even sounds, to cultivate inner peace, and satori, which is the ultimate feeling of bliss, which is amazing if you've ever felt it. Now, this is sometimes done with mudras, okay? Mudras are your hand positions. Okay? You don't need to concern yourself with those, but they're used during meditation. They create a prana pathway connected to your chakras, influencing certain energetic flow. Now, I meditate for 20 minutes every morning. I used to go for 45 minutes twice a day. In the beginning, my pain body was so, the fear-based energy was so palpable that, it was coming up into my throat. And so I spent so much of my day just finding, going after that relief. I don't really bother with mudras, but feel free to look into them and use them if you like. They're awesome. I mean, and I prefer a silent meditation that is comparable to a mix of both mindfulness and the spiritual styles. Usually I'm lying down, but I do different positions all the time. So take a minute to comment below if and how you find ways to meditate so we can share what is working together with this audience. And whichever form you choose, it is important to commit to doing something daily. I won't try to explain every nuance of each form in this for this video, but it is important to be in an uninterrupted place. If you find that during your breathing, your thoughts are coming in and knocking you out of the present moment, all you need to do is redirect your focus onto your breath over and over again. And that's it. It is a repetitive, you have to just keep doing it. And then you will start to shift. And once you shift with anything in the spiritual awakening process, you cannot go back. These shifts are permanent, okay? So remember, the more you have to undo, the better and the quicker those permanent clicks, I call them, will be. And don't worry about getting it right immediately. It is a process. And patience is a virtue, which is a lesson that continues to show up in my reality all the time. If I could tell you how many times it took me to do some of this energy work, you'd feel so much more at ease. I was so hard on myself, feeling like a failure, defeated, and then in turn falling back into routine thought patterns that kept me on this hamster wheel for what felt like forever. But I kept at it. Set my intention every day to focus on the inner work, ignoring what my mind was telling me, and rewriting the script by replacing those messages with new ones that were empowering and forward-thinking and forward-moving, while learning to speak to myself as if I already embodied what it was I wanted to attain. And that was where it began to shift for me. And from there, I was really able to truly trust in my abilities and the gifts that were my birthright. And now it's time to tap into yours. Finally. So in closing today, the entire purpose of this journey and what your soul is trying to reveal to you is to love yourself in your entirety, in all the ways in which you were created, which means being gentle and accepting where you are in the present moment as if you've chosen it. And take the pressure off. Take the pressure off. So you're instilling a new pattern of behavior while undoing an old one. And that takes time. I mean, you're undoing, it's an unbecoming in order to become what you always were. But the journey is the destination. There is no end game. We are energy, and we are constantly moving and constantly changing. So give yourself a break. And once again, observe without judgment. Accept with unconditional love. Surrender and trust to receive what you already possess. And voila, you've just taken another step back toward the light you've always embodied. What? Okay, guys, that's a wrap. Give yourself the love you deserve today as you show gratitude for what is. Continue to serve it forward, doing everything from your badass rock and roll heart. Until next time, I thank you.